Can't get a game for free. Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash please. Yeah. She got a way of making a block free. Cash please. Yeah. Can't get a game for free. Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash please.
And we're live. It's your boy, Dr. Shep from 1.0, man. And we're coming back across the track once again, my friend. We walked on water and walked on land. I got kings and queens that want to shake my hand. Who am I? The doctor. So take one of these and call me in the morning. So, man, tonight, I'm going to do something a little different, something special that we call Remember the Time. And, kids, if you were like born in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, then that's what we're talking about tonight. And after we get through talking about the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, we're going to go on up and we'll see how we progress through the 90s and the 2000s. And see how different it is. Because I remember growing up in a town called Lufkin, Texas. If y'all don't know, Lufkin, Texas is a small town in East Texas. And when I was growing up, it was a lot of children and a lot of families there. And, they were coming up out of the 70s, And the 70s was that was a live time. It was all peace, love, and sex. Kind of like the opposite of what it is today, with the exception of sex. Sex always stayed there, Now it's like kill, kill, kill and sex. Or rob, rob, rob and sex. Or, violence, violence, violence and sex. So that's one of the differences. But, man, I remember back in the day in Lufkin, Texas, and, I don't know about too many other towns except the surrounding towns that was around us, which was Diboll, Texas, and Nacogdoches, Texas, which we had a fierce rival with, football, basketball, or anything that we, shared in common. We was a natural enemies, okay? But growing up now that I realize it was some of the best times I've ever had. Because back in the day, it was like you didn't have gangs in the way that you have them now, The gangs back in the day used to be dance groups, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they would be breaking and pop locking and stuff like that, And that's how they battled, And the ladies, they had their little gangs, and they were called the PYTs, They would go get the T-shirts and put PYT on the back of it, and show up at Jones Park. Now, if y'all that don't know Jones Park was infamous, man. It was on Sundays in Lufkin, Texas. Back in the day, everybody used to go to Jones Park. Not everybody just in Lufkin, but everybody that was in Nacogdoches, Diboll, Corrigan, even Houston and Dallas came to Jones Park. Because back in the day, people used to actually value going outside and being around their neighbors or their cousins or whoever showed up at the park. Your classmates and all that, your girlfriend, boyfriend, And it was a place for all us to gather and, do whatever we did. So, and another thing they used to do back in the day, they used to play music in the park. My dad, King B, was the first black radio personality in Lufkin, Texas. So music is in my blood. So I kept up with it, So, and they used to play music in the park. You had cats like, Mr. Cool, Mr. Cool was the only cat I knew that would DJ in a full tuxedo, See, and he had one of them Rudd's tuxedos with that big old collar, and that big old bow tie, It was old school, but it was in style back then with the bell bottoms, you know. So you had different DJs that used to come to the park, and they would actually have DJ battles, you know. You have one cat set up on one end, then you have another cat set up on the other end of the park, Jones Park. And, you know, one would play his music for a few minutes and the other one would answer, you know. And that was exciting, you know, back in the day. Back in the day, you know, the clothes and, you know, the style of dress and what was considered beauty was different, you know. Afros, flat tops, you understand me? Even mohawks, you know, when Mr. T was out. Yeah, we rock mohawks. Long before these children started doing it, you know, they thought they was doing something new. But we already done that. Now, me myself, I came up with my own style. I had a curl, sure enough, you know. But when Michael Jackson, you know, stopped being really popular like that, then flat tops came in, hip hop came in, you know, you had Kid and Play, so I had to move on to the flat top, you know. So what I did with mine, I cut a little step in mine, you know, in the front. Then I took me some peroxide, you know, because back in the day, uh, your mama or your auntie or whoever, they did hair in the house. So they had all kind of hair products laying around for you to use, you know, because it was extra. So I figured that's what, you know, she was turning her blonde with was the peroxide. So I did that and peroxide in my little step on my flat top, man. So I had a 2 level, you know. Yeah, I was live, baby. I was real live. But back in the day, that's what we did. We came up with our own style. And, you know, compared to today, you know, these kids want to be like, you know, they want to be like each other. Nobody is really a leader to make a fad or something new or something like that. They all doing the same thing. They all sound the same. But back in the day, we wasn't like that. And back in Lufkin, it was so crazy because everybody there was talented. It wasn't one just talented person, you know. Everybody was talented. So at a young age, we learned what competition was. Good competition. I mean, you didn't hate the person that you probably lost to or lost a race to or lost a basketball. You didn't hate them. You just went and you got your shit together and came back next week. And you might have won that week. And that's how it was. But and you know, in order to be the man, they say you got to do what the man do. And that's the kind of the mind state that all us children had. We wasn't men or we weren't even teenagers. We were children, but we had to think like that because being a child is a traumatic time because of your peers. But when we were coming up, you know, it was like, man, fuck you. I'm fast in a motherfucker too. Fuck you. I dunk the ball too. And not only that, I do something tricky with it, you know. And we were all like that, and we were competing with each other. And that was another thing about it. Jones Park basketball court was, you know, it was legendary. And when you got out there, you had to be real about it. You just couldn't jump out there, you know, just cause you know you got up next. So back in the day, it was a lot of things that were different. And if you are from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, hell, you lucky to be here. They just came out with an article saying that. You know, if you from them times, you lucky to be here. Because we wasn't nothing but a bunch of experiments. You know, a lot of things that younger people and older people get to enjoy now, you know, like having filtered water, you know. We used to drink water out the well, or, you know, if we catch a clean stream, we'll dip it up out of there. Young people you don't or don't know what it is to eat like fresh fruit off beside the road. Man, I remember in Lufkin, the blackberries used to grow so random, and the plums and the peaches and the pears. You can go, we used to get in trouble because we used to steal them out of people's yards, The folk were mad 'cause we pick all their pears and plums and berries if we can find them. But it used to grow everywhere. Sugar cane. You could find sugar cane all up and down the road. So we were eating basically off the land. But we didn't have to suffer, all the chemicals that they spray in the air and what they use for fertilizer nowadays. But we lucky to make it because we didn't have even like Flint, Michigan. Their water system was the basically the blueprint for every low income neighborhood around the United States. It wasn't just Flint, Michigan that had that system. So you from the 60s, 70s, 80s, we lucky to make it because they were trying to kill us for real. You know, and all the things that they're selling now, well, they were experimented on us. All the products. So we were lucky to make it because we didn't have a lot of what they have now. They didn't have you know childproof tops on medication back then. you know, you could get into the medicine bottle back then. You can't do that now. See, so things are different. But back in the day, half the pressure that you thought you have had by what you thought was being poor, I bet you would trade that in today. I would love to go back to that time. I really would. I would love to go back when the skating ring was popping. You know, I would love to go back to the time, of getting ready for the prom. I would love to go back to the time when, on the weekend they had to dance at the Civic Center. And the thing about it, the Civic Center, it was close enough if you didn't have a ride, you could walk back in the day. Now you walk somewhere as a black person, you lie to not come back home. So I would trade it in for those times. I would trade it in, man, when you could go get you an ice cup and 12 cookies for 50 cents. Yeah, I go to Miss Adele, man. Peace to Miss Adele in the projects, Lufkin, Texas. Percy Simon, y'all. Off of Martin Luther King Drive, right there in Lufkin. Big piece of Miss Adele. She used to have them ice cups, man. Yeah. Y'all remember the ice cups? Yeah. And you used to get 12 cookies for a quarter. Cream cookies, you dig? Vanilla. You understand me? Back in the day. Y'all remember those pixie sticks? Nothing but sugar. But you love the fuck out of them, didn't you? I still pick up me a pixie stick every once in a while just to remind myself, back in the day. You understand? Y'all remember penny loafers, fellas? When y'all was out there, thought you was live and you wanted to show out. You were, a penny go in a penny loafer. But you had them live niggas. They put a quarter in there. Thought they were liver than anybody else. But see, they didn't know. I used to take. I kept the penny in mine, but then I go dip my finger in the Crisco, slide them hoes up on their ass. See, they wasn't ready for that. Yeah, y'all remember Crisco used to be used for lotion back in the day. Yeah, man, a lot of niggas with the school with Crisco on their face. A lot of y'all guys got your hair pressed with it too. I mean, you went to school smelling like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Not that that's a bad smell. If I had to choose, aroma of my hair, it would definitely be deep fried chicken or one of them. A cranberry sauce. I like to smell a cranberry sauce. But yeah, back in the day, man. These are the things that was enjoyable to you. You remember? Okay, I'm gonna hit y'all real deep. You remember when it was time for you to go get your Jerry curl redone? How you felt? That was like Christmas, nigga. It was. You used to be happy about it. You would go out and brag. Yeah, nigga, I'm about to go about to go get my perm in about 2 days. Yeah. I'm gonna leave the rollers in extra long so my curls can be tight. So I can do that Michael Jackson at the Civic Center. Yeah, man, that was Lufkin, man. And all this activity was going on, and this was what we were raised on. And to think that the way children are raised today, and they're our children, or they are our children's children, because I'm from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So, our children got children now. And to think about how they were raised and how we kind of like disrespected all of that learning that we learned by being raised the way we were, that to enjoy what you have and not be distracted by what you have, by what you're trying to get or who you're trying to be. All you have is the moment. And back in the day, that we used to live for the moment. We used to live for when it was time for us, somebody was had a little break dance competition going on. Man, you couldn't wait till it was your time. I ain't scared of you, fool, man. I'm about to windmill the fuck out of this cardboard. You hear me? I ain't lying. And that's how we were raised from the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, baby. It wasn't no dying in the, parking lot of Walmart. We had fun out there in 90-degree weather with the windows up. And didn't nobody get out that motherfucker, but we had fun in there. You understand me? My daddy and them drove a 1978 LTD 4-door. That motherfucker was like a 1-bedroom apartment on the inside. You had to really count your kids when they got back in the car, because that motherfucker was roomy, you hear me? Niggas hide up under the seat, back there where the speakers was, you know what I'm saying? So that's how we were raised back in the day. And back in the day, man, like for guys, young men, we were actually taught by women on how to deal with women. You wasn't listening to another fool who didn't have no idea. Our grandmothers taught us how to deal with women, and they told us at an early age. So when we was at the dance, I know what my grandmother say, don't no woman want no henpecked man, son. Don't jump in there like you just love them like that. Now let them, hang loose a little bit. We got this type of information from our grandmothers as young men because they were vested in our futures as young men. That don't happen no more. The things that are happening now, y'all are promoting their kids to get into the rap game, and the rap game is very dangerous now if y'all not, if you hadn't looked up and looked around. It's not like back in the day when you was a hip hop, hibbity the hip hop, you don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie, up jump the boogie to the bang bang boogie to beat. It ain't no shit like that no more. When them niggas get to hollering bang bang, your ass better take off, running. Call the authorities and everything, cause they really mean bang bang. And I miss back in the day because I enjoyed being around people who were just as motivated or inspired or had something to show that was individually, theirs. That's how we were. We used to go home and practice on our moves before we went back to the Civic Center. You hear me? I ain't lying, man. What was that? The when Michael Jackson did his 30th anniversary and and moonwalked and shit. Man, I tore up 2 pair of shoes moonwalking on the motherfucking concrete. I got my ass whooped several times over them damn penny loafers, man. I kept burning them hoes up because my moves had to be together. Because I knew These other niggas won't show up doing the shock and all that other shit, and. So I had to have my shit together. And believe me, I did. Red sock, penny loafer, you understand me? And the glove. You dig? And I went to Miss Joyce and got my perm did. You dig? Yeah, Miss Joyce. See, back in the day, you had people that you went to. Miss Joyce didn't have, I don't know if Miss Joyce had a license or not. We never asked that. Because Miss Joyce knew how to put on a curl. But the only thing about Miss Joyce, man, she was a lady. She was a whole lady. I mean, a whole one. So she couldn't really move around, and you would have to go and sit in between Miss Joy's legs and get your hair done, and that was a problem. But you endured because your shit was gonna be tight. Now you gonna be sweating around the neck with all that installation in between all that installation. You gonna sweat around the neck. You gonna be hot. And back then, back in the day, they didn't do air conditioning. They did a fan in the window. And I'm telling you, a fan in the window was not enough to get a curl in between Miss George thigh. But that's what we went through back in the day. And no pain, no gain. You know what I'm saying? Miss Joyce would leave she would leave the rollers in extra if you wanted, them curls tight. You couldn't leave them rollers in for 25 minutes after you put the neutralizer on the curl. You dig what I'm saying? I know what I'm talking about. I had that curl. Now I ain't got no hair right now. You understand me? But I had a curl. That's probably why I don't have no hair right now. But yeah. And Miss George leave it in that 35, 40 if you could stand the pain. Because that shit get the bun in you understand me? They called what bunning your scalp. That's what they called it back in the day. But that's what we had to go through to look good. Now, young folk, they got all kind of barbers and beauty shops and Yang Sangs, Hair Emporium, and all this here. And all we had was Miss Joy. And that's what was real back in the day. Because a Jerry curl was just important as a pair of Jordans today. Yes, it was. If you wanted to go to the Civic Center and have your dance moves when Thriller come on to look real, shit, you better go to Miss George, pay that $35 and get that curl, you see. But then, time progressed, and we got a little older, but we still was doing things in a different way. Got up to high school and all kind of trends came into play, man. You had stonewashed jeans, you had jeans that was ripped up, you had crisscross came out with cross colors, you wearing your shit backwards, we had all kind of individuality during that time. And you just don't see that anymore. Nowadays when a child is different, they treat that child like he's like really like a genius and artistic because he the only one. And it wasn't back like that back then. It really wasn't. We respected each other because we went into battle with each other, and sometimes for each other, and we knew what each other was kind of capable of, and you respected that. That didn't make us want to come to your house and rob you. It didn't make us be envious of you to where we would do something fucked up to you. We respected that. And we would go and tell other niggas who you were. If you were a nigga that knocked niggas out, we told, hey man, don't fuck with that man. That man is gonna put you to sleep. Don't bother that nigga is crazy. You don't want to do that. We would warn people because we respected them. And it wasn't like, okay, well, he knocked niggas out, but I killed that nigga. It was not like that because you were able to ingest where you were on the food chain and you accepted that. And if you wanted to go up that food chain, then you went in there, you worked out, you took up boxing, or you did something, or you stayed the fuck out the way is another option. But you did something to adjust where, you wasn't no punk or nothing, but you knew how far you could go because somebody let you know. Now, that don't happen nowadays because if you interact with these young people, that's how far it go. It's like they want to automatically murder you. And I'm like, where did they learn that from? Because we from the 60s, 70s, and 80s are the producers of these children. So where did they learn that from? And I just named off all these things that we used to do. Y'all still love the skating ring, so why y'all let it get out of hand? You still love the dance, and so why some of y'all still love the skip? Some of y'all still love to blow bubbles. How did it get to this? If y'all still love these things and you still remember these things like I do. Some of y'all used to make good potato salad. How did it get out of hand, y'all? Some of us used to love to wash our cars on Sunday, Saturday or Sunday. Put our girls in the passenger seat and drive slowly up through the park, man, so you can be seen and let everybody know we together. Some of us used to actually hold hands with our mate. Some of us used to, kiss behind the tree, and you loved it. So why is it so different from what you produced? Why your child don't know about finding a place, by the lake and laying a blanket down with some sandwiches and some, cheese and crackers, you know? Why they don't know about them type of things? That somebody probably, that's probably what was happening to you, how he got here. Come on, man. The very thing that I'm talking about is probably what brought that young man or young lady forth, and you just forgot to tell them about it. Is it that y'all are so big of friends that you don't want to let them know that your mother or your daddy, y'all that big of friends where y'all just skip over that subject? Well, okay, I'm gonna get with you. We gonna do TikTok, clap our ass together. Just never mind about that old shit, cause it didn't amount to nothing. But most of the old people that I know that did what I did are still alive. I'm one of them, still alive and still doing it. And what's being taught today, besides the old school, is killing our youth. Now, if I know any kind of art of war, I know that that is the first thing that the enemy will do. Destroy all the men, children first. Because the women will submit. That's just history. It's not me. Now look what's happening. You can say what you want to say about old school, but our parents kept us safe. You can say what you want to say about old school, but our neighbors kept us safe. You can say what you want to say about old school because Aunt Jimmy Lee them kept us safe. So just how important was old school to where we all just want to forget it and pick up this new way of living, which we have to. Things change, but we have to change with it. But that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy a barbecue with music with actual people interacting with each other, people you hadn't seen in a while, giving good hugs and laughing hard, dominoes, spade, talking shit. How can that not be high on the list of things that you don't want to let go? Now, I heard somebody say one time, and that's all I needed to hear it. There's nothing wrong with money, and there's nothing wrong with the want for money. But when you get that money, just make sure that you don't lose the things that money can't buy. Your family, your health, someone that's going to take care of you when you can't take care of yourself. These are the things that money can't buy, that you should not lose in your quest for money. Now, in our sense, our money is our children. We old school, we out the game. What's left is our children. That is our future. So if you destroy your children, you have no future. So they're our money, and we bet on them. I'm 51, and I got that way by being taught and being walked through what real is and what has real value. And that's what tonight's show is about. It wasn't just about old school. It was about value. When we valued things, we valued that who we were. We took pride in, our heritage and where we came from and where we were going. We took pride in the shit that we wasn't going to take no more also. And to think all these things were done in the hope that today we would be a different people with a better concept. So to me, back in the day is the only day that I would rather remember rather than these days that we're having. And I thought I would just run through back in the day with y'all to give you a reminder that these things still exist. You can leave all your phones at the house and take your family to the park and y'all just do it that way. It's not against the law. It's not hard. You can still go to the skating ring, drop down to your knees and stick your leg out and let somebody push you in your back. Yeah. You can still enter a dance contest. You can still go to, all these places that we used to go to. But if, even if it's you doing it by yourself, that's all that matters. Because like I said, the kids are the money. If you don't invest in them, then yeah, they gonna bust. They gonna go for broke. But back in the day, I definitely enjoyed it. I still enjoy it because I still do things that I did back in the day. Now I ain't climbing no trees and shit like that and jumping off the house with a towel around my neck, which I would still probably enjoy that. I don't want to break shit, but I probably would still enjoy that. You know what I mean? Yes, sir. And I definitely still enjoy making Kool-Aid with 3 whole cups of sugar. Yes. And I probably still would take some popsicle sticks and freeze some Kool-Aid and make me some popsicles. Probably still would do that. I still makes me a sub sandwich and drank it with milk. Yes, I do. I'm guilty. I still make me a sub sandwich. The only thing I ain't had in a while was a sugar sandwich. Y'all don't know nothing about that, do you? That's how hungry a cat was. If it wasn't enough bread and sugar, let's make a sandwich out of it. Now, what you do for a sugar sandwich, you get you some sugar and you melt you some butter, right? You go up there and get you some cinnamon and you mix that sugar and that butter in that cinnamon together. Toast your bread. When the butter is melted and you got it all mixed up, you spread that over the bread. Then you pat it together. Throw up square of butter in the pan. Fry both sides of the sandwich. See, since you ain't got that much to work with, you got to be all fancy with it. When you taste it, you won't know that you ain't eating another motherfucking thing but bread and butter. But it sure is good. So these things that we still do, and I think a lot of y'all would still do if you just kind of like let go of what you think adulthood is. We've been fooled, y'all. We all have. Adulthood end up not being cracked up to what it used to be. You know, adulthood is not cracked up to what we thought it was back in the day. And like I said, I would trade those times in for these any given day. Shit. I would love to go back to where my only worry was if the jump rope gonna get caught on my foot. Or I ain't gonna be able to keep up with the double dutch when they speed up. Or if I forgot my lunch ticket, yeah. Well, if I left my lunch ticket at home for Costin Elementary. Big shout out to Costin Elementary in Lufkin, Texas. I would love to go back to that. But seem like those things are long gone. Or are they, y'all? Y'all act like that somebody make us give that stuff up. They didn't. You gave it up willingly for, money, hoes, and cars and clothes. You gave it up willingly. And then you wonder why, your spirit is bad. It's because the things that we used to do back in the day, it was kind of spirit based. Because we all were, dealing with each other. And the circumstances for all of us was basically the same. So you wasn't dealing with people that were like better than you, far as economically. So we was all in the state of mind of hey, I wanna do this. We had dreams, And dreams is something that every young person should have. Because if you have a dream, that means you're not going off of somebody else's coattail, which that's what they do today. If one of them paint their hair pink, there's gonna be 1,000 pink heads around. If one of them commits murder in the name of hip hop, we know how that go. If one of them decides to put something out that your daughter would listen to and start mimicking, and not care, yeah, that's what's happening now. So my thing is that the old school is still there for y'all. Whenever y'all want to return, I ain't never left. I got several butterfly collars back there. I got several jackets from the 70s and I still talk jive, Jack. Can you dig it? So it's all still there for you. Ain't like it ain't nothing that you can't attain again. Mutual respect for yourself, teaching your child mutual respect for your neighbor, and being a help to your neighbor. Because that's what they used to call a village, and that's where I come from. And if you from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, you too know what a village is. Because that was a time when, If you did something wrong and your parents wasn't at home, you know, Miss Lucille put something on your ass. And then she took you home where you probably got, another ass whooping. So that village was taken care of, even if your parents were not there. Now you probably growed up hating Miss Lucille, but when you got grown, you needed your ass whooped, and you admitted it. But I still couldn't stand Miss Lucille. It wasn't none of her damn business. She's a snitch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But them old folks was rough, man. You couldn't really handle them people like that. You get your mouth slapped on side your ear, you know. And that was the respect. You know. You have children nowadays and their thing is to have a strong opinion about some shit they know nothing about. We didn't have that option. When grown folk shit was happening back in the day, you took your ass to that back room, and if you was a bad, one of the bad children, you went and looked up under the door if you wanted to see what was going on. That was the only way. I was the one that went and looked up under the door because they were playing Richard Pryor, and it was just something about it. And that's another thing, you know. Our entertainment was it was new, you know. Black people were just now starting to stick out, and being recognized. So in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, oh man, Michael Jackson, Prince, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we just had got off the back of James Brown. So black folks we was on the rise. You did? Teddy Pendergrass, Luther, Luther Vandross. You understand? Yeah. And these were real singers and real entertainers, that was like singing in front of real instruments, you know. So yeah, we were totally cut from a different cloth than what we are guessed at seeing today. But you got some older people that like this music, and I don't like the music, but the instrumentals they do sound good, but the lyrics are trash. We didn't have trash lyrics, man. You dig what I'm saying? We did not have trash lyrics. When them cats, Grandmaster Flash came out, you know, with that don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. Ha 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 ha. Man, you can't fuck with no shit like that, man. It's like 1,000 of times that make me wonder how I keep from going under. A child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. Keep smiling on you, man. You can't mess with that like that, there, man. When LL dropped, I'm bad. Come on, man. You can't mess with that. Carrie S. Warren, Cool Mo D. Come on, man. So music was different. So I thought we would be different, and I thought our children would be different. But it turns out we turned around and we disrespected how we were raised, and we said that we want our children to be raised better. So at the end of this commentary, I want to ask y'all, do y'all think the decisions we made with our children made it better? That we took all the old school out of their lives and didn't even give them a chance to experience it. You know, we took grandma's recipe and, just forgot it, I guess. You took Pawpaw's, how he used to hunt and all that, just forgot it. Because now you can get, delivery, Uber and Uber Eats and all that. So all these things y'all don't think it's gonna be valuable no more. But guess what? We're back in those times where you're gonna have to grow your own food. We back in those times where you're gonna need a village. We're back in those times where the old school knowledge is now is going to be new school knowledge because you're going to need it again. Because America is on the decline. If y'all hadn't looked up, raised up from Facebook or Instagram or, if you ain't looked around yet, yeah, we are on the decline. So whatever you remember from the old school, I suggest you bring it back out of the bag. If you know how to grow food, if you know how to hunt, if you know how to preserve food, fruit and things of this here manner, you need to start homing your skills. Because I swear, it's going to be the old school that saves us. It ain't going to be y'all telephones and all your internet and your 5G, 10G, and all this shit. It's not going to save you. It's going to be what you were taught and what you do remember from how to survive. Because even though I was having a good time as a child, even though I was having the best time in my life and all the childhood experiences I had, I did not know that we were in survival mode. Never knew that we were poor. So I took it on as a way of life. And because of my parents, I didn't have to feel that I was poor because they took the blow. But it was two of them. So I had a good defense. It was two parents fighting for my defense. But now mostly you have one parent home. And that fight is hard. So I suggest you started working on it now. Don't wait till it's too late or something outrageous happens. Old school is just a switch of mind. You don't have to do nothing really spectacular. Old school is just a switch of mind to the basics because we've gotten too extravagant for our own good. So I just wanted to take y'all back in the day tonight. Try to remind you of who we are and who we used to be and who we could be again here on 1.0. And I want to thank everybody for chiming in. Um, I also want to let you know we do have merch. We do have T-shirts, hats, and things of that manner. And you can go to the website and pick some of that up. Any kind of support that you would like to give us. We also want you to chime in every Friday at 8:30 to the show. We'll be going live here at 1.0 every Friday. We also want you to subscribe and like. Go to the channel Facebook. Go to the Facebook channel 1.0 and leave your comments. And if you have any ideas that you would like to be talked about on the show, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please hit me in my DM, and I surely love to hear from you and like to see you. So we're going to go into the close of the show, and there was something else I wanted to speak on before I got off the show tonight. Okay, yeah, and this is and it goes along with what I was saying tonight because I seen on the news where the African president has announced that everybody in Africa should get rid of their American money. And turns out Africa has company on this issue. They got the Brits on board. They got China on board. So uh, my suggestion of going to the old school is valid because things are gonna get hard around here. If our American dollar is no good, around the world, that's kind of like mostly where our goods are made, and that's where we make most of our money here in America from. So y'all should definitely, listen And do your own research. Don't believe me. Just kind of look up for a minute and pay attention and see what's going on. And you'll see that things are really getting out of hand here. So I'm just want to bring it to your attention that, yeah, as much as you didn't like old school, or much as you didn't like how you was raised, there's a good chance that you're gonna be back in that position again. And I don't want it to be a problem for you, because I had fun in that position, best time of my life. And if that's what life is gonna go back to, yes, I'm gonna be good. And I might even get my chance to jump off the roof with that towel around my neck one more time. Because all we do is repeating history, y'all. This is nothing new. So I want to thank everybody for chiming in here on 1.0. And as usual, coming back across the track once again, my friend. I walked on water, I walked on land. I got kings and queens that want to shake my hand. Who am I? Dr. Shep. So take one of these and call me in the morning. Y'all don't forget to chime in and subscribe and leave your comments. And if you want to join 1.0, please do so. And remember, we have merch and everything else. And if you have any kind of information, or if you want to converse, or if you want to come on screen, please send me a DM, and I promise you I'll get back with you. It's your boy from 1.0, your host, Dr. Shep, and we're out. Big peace to Black Earth Inc., y'all.
Can't get a game from shit. I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right.